Hello, and welcome to the Zone of Mystery. Here we are going to tear apart the mystery and intrigue that surrounds me, I guess. Look, I just want an excuse to use a green screen, and also the channel's turning 11 in a couple days, so let's explore the iceberg that is me. This chair creaks like nobody's goddamn business. Wow. Let's start at the very top. The surface level. What people, if you know, even if you don't know the username, there's a good chance you know at least some of this stuff. Let's talk about Payday 2. It's almost at 1 million views. That's nuts. The Payday 2 starter guide. I still get comments from people who think I play the game actively and want tech support. I can't help you. There's also the fact that I started on Flipnote Studio. You would upload to a service called Flipnote Hatena, and I wanted people who knew me from there to find me elsewhere, so that's where the last 6 letters of the username came from. There's also the fact that I am asexual and non-binary. Both of those are relatively obvious. You just literally have to click any bio or description I've ever written, and they're all that is. So most people who have come across anything I've done probably know most of those 3 things. They're relatively obvious. I don't try to hide them. Those videos in particular are exceedingly popular, and I don't get why. But that's not what this video is about. This is about the secrets and mystery and intrigue surrounding me. Again, we are in the zone of mystery. Of course there's going to be mystery and intrigue. Of course there's going to be mystery and intrigue. Just below that, like right at the ocean, we have game reviews and essays. Kind of hard to ignore the fact that that's most of what I put out. Even if it's not the most popular stuff, you just go to, oh, what has Jay uploaded recently? And it's all just game reviews and essays. The build and Terraria randomizers, they are not as popular as the Payday 2 start guide stuff, but they are still pretty popular. It seems like the Terraria randomizer has a bit of a cult following, just given the comments and things. It seems like people liked that series kind of posthumously, and that's neat. That's fun. Also the fact that I made a game, Up in Smoke, and I had published games to itch.io, that's in the description of every video. So I feel like at this point it's kind of hard to have not seen that unless you only watch old shit. Likewise, the Afterward Saga, not many people read it. I believe the entire final book went entirely unread, just completely. I was the only person who read any of it, but I've talked about it a lot. A number of people have brought it up to me for stupid reasons, and also it was the inspiration behind the username used in the Payday 2 starter guide, so bonus points there. Not many people have read it, but I feel like enough people have at least seen a bit or a piece of it that they know, oh, that's a thing this person wrote, which I'm fine with. Also around this area is that the Yonoid 2 devs were very big early supporters of the rebooted channel, because one of my first reviews on the rebooted channel was of Yonoid 2, which was a game I loved, and I like its art style and its visual design, and they loved the video, and a bunch of them actually sent me invites to their Discord server, which was super neat. They shared the video around, and some of them are still subscribed to the channel now, so that's a lot of fun. Also around this layer is the fact that I worked at a jank Kmart sometime between 2015 and the second half of 2016, like the summer of 2016, the fall maybe. I've talked about my Kmart stories a lot, mostly on streams. If you don't watch the streams, that might be new to you, but I feel like I've mentioned it in some other unscripted videos before. So that's kind of layer 2. It's all kind of surface. It's still kind of surface level, but it doesn't supersede E3k the same way that Let's Talk About Payday 2 or the most obvious facts of my bio do. It's not easy to miss these things, but if you only watch a very specific subsection of my videos, you're not going to get the full story. These are, facts that folks on my Discord or show up to the streams probably know a lot more about, but it's all still out there in public for folks who want to find it. We gotta get deeper. Welcome to layer 3. Technically. These are things that you would have had to have been around for a while to know, or things that just didn't go well, but I still feel like it's still very possible to find that information right now. It's all plenty publicly available. You just gotta know where to look. That includes the dog recreation ARG. For a brief period of time, and I think 2018, I was hiding a URL in a bunch of my videos, and that URL led to a video called Dog Recreation, which was this like shit post I made featuring my dog at the time, Ika. When she passed, I made that video public. But before then, it was just this like puzzle that I wanted folks to find, and I really had to poke and prod them to actually do some digging. And eventually they did. So I don't remember what videos in particular you would have had to have watched. Also around this level is New Infinity, which was a thing I wrote between 2014 and 2013 and 2016. It took me quite a while to finish it. It was a 60,000 word novella on Fiction Press and Banana, both of which are not very popular. But it's about a family that moves into the town of New Infinity, and it turns out, whoops, it exists in a computer. And I'm not bringing that to any like newer platforms because it just is going to look like a glowing recommendation of the metaverse, and I hate that. I hate that this cool idea was taken from me and commodified and turned to shit. Ugh. Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg. Creature from the Backlog was not quite a framing device for a bunch of game reviews for games I wanted to finish but never found the time to finish. And it had this weird like B-movie shtick. Oh, Half-Life. For only 2 seconds, and then it was just a normal game review. People didn't like it. Most of the watch times were very short. Not a lot of people clicked the videos. And then I made the Borderlands 3 video, just part of Creature from the Backlog, and I don't know why. And then I tried to bring Creature from the Backlog back, and it didn't go over well. So I don't know. I just do reviews as reviews, or if I have a way to talk about an older game now, I'll just find that and make that work. People probably know that it exists, but don't want to click on it. Source Code. This was a co-op channel that myself, Dan, Steve, and one of our friends, Alex, ran from 2013 to about 2018. We uploaded, I want to say once a week, but it did not work out that way. A lot of the videos are only Dan's, and there were huge hiatuses between life. We just did not have the time to get together to record a bunch of stuff very often, and that's kind of why the channel just faded away. And now Dan and Steve are over here doing stuff on my channel every now and then, so we kind of found a compromise. But it was a co-op. All of us had the login to it, and we could upload as we wanted to. The only person who took advantage of that was myself. With One Shot One Kill. But then Dan, who did entire Let's Plays of Tomb Raider and Life is Strange. I don't know what happened there. I've mentioned the channel a lot, and it's probably... I'm surprised there hasn't been a resurgence in like popularity on that channel of people going, wow, look, it's Jay playing Payday. I wish Jay would do that again. Shut the fuck up. Hypothetical person that does not exist in my own brain. They only exist in my brain. But if you know of the channel, you probably also know that one of its most popular videos is a fibbage video called Lesbian Lifting. You were supposed to come up with like, oh, you know, this event's done at an Irish festival once every year, and I wrote that. And I got so many votes. And it was the most popular video, it was one of the most popular videos with all of us on the channel, because when we went to the analytics to look how people were finding the video, it was all through search results, and they were clearly looking for lesbian porn on YouTube. And they clicked fibbage, thinking that we might have fibbed them. oh, this is the YouTube censors think it's fibbage, but it's not. No, they watched nothing but fibbage. Also around this camp, I'm gonna put all my old Sonic Let's Plays. I did Sonic 2 betas, I did a Sonic 1 ROM hack, I even did a playthrough of Sonic Adventure 2 with significantly better hardware, but around the same time. Only a couple episodes of each, and probably about half of them have been deleted, but I've left the others up for reasons I don't understand. They're still there. You can just click sort by oldest and you'll find them. Also here, I want to talk about, I did a video just before the reboot it was like a game mode where, in Overwatch, where you played as McCree, and your only option was to fan the hammer, and you had infinite ammo, so you would just keep fanning the hammer forever. And I did a thumbnail, and it was of a cowboy with a bunch of zoom blur, and he's red, and he's holding guns, and he's angry. And I wrote, "Yeehaw intensifies" under it. That image came back to me years later as a meme that I found on a Discord talking about California's gun laws are just turning everything cowboy again. And it was just obviously my video thumbnail. So people just typed in "Yeehaw intensifies," they found the thumbnail, they downloaded the thumbnail, they added glowing lens flares to the cowboy's eyes, but that was it. It was just my thumbnail. I just think that's neat. If we get to this level, you have done your homework, and it's a little terrifying that you've done your homework in this way. But for the folks who wish to join me here on level 4, here you go. First of all, we need to talk about some of the very first fans the channel ever had. One of my first subscribers was Philip. And if you don't know Philip, you probably know the videos he's made. He uploads to a YouTube that's called Philip on Bread, and every month for a couple years, probably around 2015 or so, it was every other month, he would do a Team Fortress 2 meme where he would pitch shift the medic saying Oktoberfest to a Toho song. And then they would be called Month First. So you've probably seen September 1st or October 1st or December 1st. Yeah, that guy is subscribed to me on YouTube, and he was one of my first subscribers because I'd hang out in his chat room on Flipnote Hatena, and I gave him pretty much every green star that came my way when I wasn't spending them on profile themes. So he got a bunch of support from me. He followed me on Flipnote. He actually left a couple comments on Flipnote. But then when I started uploading to YouTube, he was actually an early supporter of the channel, probably until about 2013. Then we kind of just started diverging, and at that point, we've kind of gone separate ways. But Philip hasn't unsubscribed from me, and I just think that's neat. While we're talking Flipnotes, my actual Flipnotes. I was very clearly just ripping off the visual style of Gizmo, who was one of the more popular American Flipnote artists. It was very kind of out there, slapstick, very snappy animation style, rapid fire comedy. I was clearly just taking what he was doing and just doing it worse. Or I would just take other people's Flipnotes and lightly embellish them. Nobody liked me on Flipnote. All my most popular Flipnotes were stolen from other people, and I just put music over them. Or I would just change a couple things. But I've gotten better. Also on this level, this was before people started noticing what I was doing on Twitter. I would maybe get a like a month. But in a kind of nearby-ish town, they would have a cruise night, and it's just people with nice-looking cars would show up and park on the street and in the parking lots, and then other people would come in and just look at them. And I would take pictures with the VHS filter camera that I use a bunch, and I would just upload those pictures to Twitter with no comment. They're all kind of good pictures, but again, nobody cares. That was so long ago, and Like, there's no reason to go back to those pictures now. I just thought it was a different way to do pictures than other people were doing. They don't even look like a still frame photograph. I don't know what happened there. Kind of just picked an aesthetic and ran with it. Also around this level, there was an ARG for Let's Talk About Payday 2 before that video came out. Again, it was a URL hidden in videos, and if you went to that URL, it was just like music, but then at the end of the music, or like buried in the middle, would be a SSTV signal. That was the thumbnail for the video. I found out people did actually get to the video, but nobody went through the trouble to actually convert the SSTV sound to an image, which was a bit of a disappointment, and that's why I haven't done any SSTV stuff since, because I don't think anybody else is going to go through the effort. Here I would be remiss to not talk about my most popular Let's Play from 2013-ish. A cave story hack called, I believe it was like Jenka's Nightmare, and it was not a good hack. It was considered, well, this might as well be official, but the puzzles were esoteric, the combat was a chore, and I did a Let's Play of it, and it was getting about 100 views a video. And then I recorded about 20 episodes trying to solve one of its puzzles, and that's when I just stopped uploading it, because it didn't feel worth it to upload anymore, because like there was no progress made. And I was right. You know, it's actually kind of funny at the time, like people were even getting fed up when I was doing videos that weren't that game. They're like, this isn't what I subscribed for. So I should have known this shit was gonna go down in 2019. Moving from my most popular Let's Play of that time to probably the most popular thing I worked on around that time. In 2011, I wrote Minecraft fanfiction set after the end. The whole overworld's been made into barren wasteland, and people live in these big domes suspended up on like big supports that were supposed to emulate the overworld, you know, have biomes and caves and things. And it all just went to shit because they announced Enderman, and I'm like, I'm just gonna make a story about the guy who invented the Enderman. So I did. It did astoundingly well. I think by the time it ended, it had almost 100,000 hits, which was bewildering. God, that's 11 years old. God, it's actually older than the YouTube channel. Oh, and I started my Twitter to advertise the final chapter. And I was just not going to use it, and then oopsies, here I am with, God, I don't want to know how many tweets. Too many. If you follow me on Twitter, you probably know that I don't use, all my consoles are Nintendo. You know, I don't have an Xbox, I don't have a PlayStation. That's a lie. I had one PlayStation, and it was a PSP. It was actually my only non-Nintendo console until my Steam Deck comes in. And I had 3 games for it. I had 2 games for it. I had Thrillville, and I had Sonic Rivals. And my Sonic Rivals disc, the case just fell open. So I didn't ever get to play it. What a shame. I mean, I don't imagine the game's that good, but still. It is at this point that we start getting into dangerous waters. If you've come up to my Discord, if you DM'd me and went, hey, I was a big fan of this, if you've done enough homework to learn that these projects existed, then I am terrified. For instance, on Fiction Press, I started a bunch of stories and then never finished them, and then I would just delete them because I was rewriting them, and then I would delete them again, and then again. So if you read The Last Stand, I'm sorry. It wasn't good. I knew it wasn't good. I wrote myself into so many corners and just went, screw it, I'll accept it. Also along the same lines, I made some Cave Story hacks. I made 2 of them and I posted them to the Cave Story forums. They were Cave Story, the final chapter, which was like this edgelord, like post-apoc continuation. I was big into the post-apoc continuation stuff, I guess, in like 2011, 2012. I want to say the first release came out December 24th, 2012, actually. And it was just like you went through Egg Corridor, and then there was like a platforming bit to this place called Chaos City, which would have been home to all of these robots that were like tearing the island apart. It was bad. I did not continue it after that because I didn't know how to do any of the cool stuff I wanted to do, and I also didn't know there was time travel, and you would go back in time, and it was going to be in black and white. It was just the bit from the base game, like the destroyed egg corridor when you're en route to the end of the game. It was just that, but in black and white. It was striking. It was kind of cool, but that was it. I then made a second hack called Cave Rush, which was going to be like a speedrunners type thing. I was not a speedrunner, and I didn't make good levels. That only got one stage as well. There was supposed to be you complete 9, and then you could move on to a final stage and win. No. There was also like a token that you could collect, and you could spend that token to get one of 3 power-ups. Also no. And you couldn't just save those tokens. You had to spend them. I don't know. I don't know, man. Also, around this time I made a bunch of just like shitpost videos on my YouTube channel. There was one of the Team Fortress 2 spy going, "I do believe I'm on fire," and then I just played the song from Mother 3. There was Ed Eats Cereal while I played unfitting music. There was also a video where I blew up a tree with, it was that like app that would just put like green screen effects over your video. It was that. It was like a minute and a half long. I just yell at a tree for an extended amount of time and then it blows up. Philip commented on that, and I think it was in his likes. There was also, I did a Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga Let's Play with a friend of a friend, and it caused a whole lot of friend drama that I still don't know if it's been resolved. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Did you know that I made adventure maps for Minecraft and uploaded them to Planet Minecraft? Because I did. They aren't good. I think there was only 2 of them. It was like Shepherd's Slalom, which was like a platformer puzzle where you brought a pig around by like holding out wheat, and it wanted to eat the wheat. Or was it a sheep? It might have been a sheep. It makes sense if it was a sheep, but I feel like it might have been a pig. There was also an adventure map where you navigated a bunch of caves. That one wasn't good. And then there's also the fact that I started the channel on a 2005 $500 laptop that the processor was probably about a gigahertz. Or a gigahertz? Hertz? 1 gigahertz. And I totally burned it out by playing Team Fortress 2. Oops. I feel like I've mentioned that like once or twice. No, I mentioned that in the old videos. This is the danger zone. If there are people out there that know of these things or have found them, run. These are things that have been dead and buried, and I've done my best to simply not talk about them because there's nothing worth talking about. But here they are. The first two things are kind of hand in hand. A pair of games I made in college with the help of some folk. There was Heal the Horde, which was like a tower defense where you cured infected goblins and then tried to make sure that the infected ones couldn't reinfect. So later levels had a bunch of paths that looped around on themselves. There was Minecraft.text, which was a novelty Twitter where I just went through and found reviews for Minecraft and posted them verbatim. And they were all from children who were all like, "Oh, it'd be cool if you could add race cars and aeroplanes, lasers." Shit. No, but they're like, "Oh, you should add the Ether to the Pocket Edition. You should add, the back room." No, that was before that. But it was like that caliber of children. It's just like, "Oh, here's a bunch of things I want. Could you add bouncy castles, and could you add like planes, and could you add a new kind of dragon called the Sky Dragon?" So I just post those verbatim. I would also trawl children's YouTube channels and post the newest comments I found there. I think I did like 20 posts, and that was about it. The .text novelty Twitters were very much in at the time. Like fanfiction.text had like just started, like a couple of years before. Also, while we're talking projects, literally nobody looked at and knew about. I did a bunch of videos for Video for Social Media in 2019. Those are all just out in public for you to watch. I don't think anyone ever will. There are some zingers in there, but I'm not going to just trawl them up and parade them around. Well, we'll do like a supercut of some things that I think are worth watching from this entire ordeal, and we'll leave it at that. Is this you? Ugh, it's so boring. It doesn't even blow up or anything. We always say strive for quality. It's all we've got. Because, again, no money. We need a football day shirt. Not for wearing, just for carrying. Yeah, that one will do. It's got all the core features you could ever want in a pan. It gets hot, and it stays there. I forgot, you need to be invisible to watch invisible football. Wow! Does this one blow up? No, that one doesn't explode, but that's alright. And lastly, we need a football day drink. So you're gonna take some water. Alright, just keep going. Alright, and there you go, it's a perfect drink. And that's not all. We have some pans that perform vanishing acts, as well as the brand new BX38P model that can play some tunes. Is this you? No. I'm not me, and you're not me either. Whoa, what the fuck? Cool. And now we're getting to the stuff that I've told nobody. I was using Windows Movie Maker when I first started on YouTube, and I felt like it was restrictive, because it was. There were some things I just wanted to do, but I couldn't. So I did the sensible thing, and pirated Adobe After Effects. I only knew After Effects because I had seen a Syriac video once, and I'm like, yeah, that can edit my Let's Plays. Not well. It did not run good on my laptop, and also it was overkill for what I was doing with it. I think I only ever edited one video with it, and then I moved to a demo of Sony Vegas. Maybe no, it was not a pirate of Sony Vegas. It was just Sony Vegas demo. And then the laptop just died. So then I moved back to Movie Maker until we got a new computer in 2014 that had Power Director. And then I got Sony Movie Studio Platinum for a birthday gift, and my life has never been the same since, and I'm stuck in Sony Vegas hell. It's actually quite nice here in Sony Vegas hell though, so I'm not gonna complain. There's also the character of James Newman, who was somebody I credited in the older Janka's Nightmare videos for having helped me edit to explain why, the editing quality was about to go up. It wasn't. I even made James a novelty Twitter. Not a novelty Twitter, it's just supposed to be his Twitter. I was, when was this, 2012 or 2013? I was like 15 at the time maybe, and James was 20. James also had a lot of the same interests and tastes that I did, and I abandoned the Twitter because I didn't know what to do with the character anymore. This should be like career-endingly stupid to admit, but nobody followed that Twitter. Nobody was watching, or nobody was reading the descriptions, and nobody cared that I was crediting this second person who never showed up on the channel ever. I'd effectively just tried to abdicate some responsibility onto an imaginary friend. Because I was 14, and when you're 14, you're stupid. And if you're younger than 14, you're an idiot. The kids in the back rooms comments know who they are. All morons. There's probably only one more thing to mention, and it's the origin of E3k. And that one's quite simple. See, I think it's funny that you would think I'd tell you the origin of that one. Tell you what. 100,000 subscribers. Sure, man, I don't know. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more, I'd recommend subscribing. Coffee and social media links are in the description.